Hi, everyone, and welcome to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw. Wendy has spent the last 2 years helping women with various stages of endometriosis to heal naturally after putting her condition into remission. After her own healing success from stage 4 endometriosis and adenomyosis, she's inspired to heal others, and her goal is to help some of the 175 million women know that there is another way other than painkillers, drugs, or surgery. This is the place to be for real talk with real people for real results, so you can learn how to heal your endometriosis naturally. Please note that the opinions expressed in this program may represent options, but are not a substitute for proper medical care. Before starting any new healthcare program, we recommend you consult with a health professional.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Wendy K Laidlaw here from Heal Endometriosis Naturally. As always, I hope that this podcast and video finds you well. The title of the podcast today is Tinsel, Tears and Trauma of Christmas Past. It's near Christmas Eve, and sadly, I must admit to feeling a little bah humbug. This is so unlike me, but this year I've been struck at the mass marketing that goes on to promote an event about the birth of Jesus some 9 to 10 weeks in advance of the actual day. I saw some shops advertising Christmas and displaying Christmas decorations in September this year, and it felt that the essence of what Christmas is all about is totally lost to corporations and commercialism. What also concerns me is the heavy subconscious messages and miscommunication about Christmas and family. Many women with endometriosis may well be writhing in pain this Christmas day, feeling lost and alone, and even being surrounded by family. Overwhelmed by the cascades of abdominal cramping, that is like a sucker punch to the gut, but never abating. Sadly, many may also be surrounded by the people referred to as blood and family who show little or no empathy or compassion to the woman with endometriosis and merely give derisory looks and put-downs with hurtful tones. To be fair, how could they understand what a woman in pelvic pain has to go through? As you know, I'm lucky to have been able to be pain-free and put my pelvic and abdominal pain of endometriosis and adenomyosis into remission for a few years now, as I've explained in previous podcasts. So I get that unless someone who's had endometriosis themselves find it hard to understand. Endometriosis is a poorly misunderstood condition even within the medical field, although I am increasingly encouraged to hear that more is being done by the UK Parliament and medical professionals to try and at least understand its painful and debilitating nature. But much more needs to be done to help those people, the professionals, family and friends, to understand the complex nature of endometriosis. Yet while increasing support is becoming available, which is great and awesome, that itself is not enough. Clear, specific direction and a step-by-step approach is required. You see, it is not just one element that causes the inflammation and hormone imbalance in endometriosis. It is what I refer to as the 5 Ps, or 5 poisons, i.e. produce, oblique food, products, property, people, and past. But more about that in future podcasts. The problem is our culture or fast-paced society are made to believe that endometriosis can be ended with one singular magic bullet or pill or surgery or procedure. If only that was the case. But I see it time and time again with the women I work with, is that what is successful is a multimodal, whole body, whole person approach. And it works by using the analogy of coming down through the layers of an onion to get to the root core cause of the pain and symptoms. The more one particular mode of treatment, like a painkiller, drug, or surgery, is touted as the cure or magic bullet, the more damage is done and upset caused when that does not work, or only works temporarily for pain to return more viciously within a few weeks. But back to Christmas. You'll remember that one of the 5 Ps I talk about is people. In the past, it seemed incredulous to me that people would be a factor affecting my body's pain levels. Christmas time, historically, for me, was a time of year that I looked forward to, yet would become more physically ill. I never made the connection. It was a time of year when the idea and fantasy of family was at its highest for me. I would watch all these heartwarming Hollywood films. I got caught up in the stories of love and happiness and joy. I craved this fantasy to be real. I had a hunger for the perfect Christmas to be as it was portrayed on the big screen or TV. The Christmas that was supposed to be a time for family to come together, to celebrate each other and be happy. A coming together in love, in abundance, in good cheer and laughter. Yet as much as I sought this fairy tale, the reality was somewhat different, year upon year upon year. It was more the case of a fraught family forced back together under the guise of, let's pretend to play Happy Family Christmas. Sandwiched close to relatives you barely knew or spoke to throughout the year, and surrounded by those specific poisonous folk, you know the ones I mean, who know how to cause a dreadful atmosphere around the table that you could cut with a knife. Yet if and when you directly asked if everything was okay, they would reply yes when clearly it was a no. Year after year, the facade and the play of family went on because it was Christmas. Maybe it's because I work with so many beautiful, incredible women now and help them end their endometriosis naturally, and who have been such dedicated students and learned how to connect with their own bodies, mind, and past to become pain-free, that I'm more aware than ever of what impacts a person on a deep subconscious level. How a student recently said to me that in studies it was found that when children were asked who in the whole wide world they would want to spend their time with if they could choose anyone, they always answered their parents. And their parents said that too. So you have these generations upon generations of people naturally seeking attention and approval from their parents, and their parents from their parents, and never ever quite getting what they seek, whatever that need or needs may be or have been. Christmas, sadly, is when all those people and those unmet needs come together. All these people, like children in grown-up bodies, desperate for that love and adoration and attention they never got growing up. For some, just basic human need of appreciation and approval. Feeling the pressure of happy family Christmas with no resentments and emptiness shoved down for the day or two that tradition has pushed them together for, in some cases to endure. Then there is the other end of the spectrum. The many a beautiful soul that has to spend her Christmas on her own because the family get-togethers became too unbearable to endure. They too are constantly reminded of the marketing message of happy, joyful family, yet suffer on their own because of the trauma of being around toxic or poisonous people is too much for their nervous system and body. So spare a thought and send a prayer for the living this Christmas time. A prayer for those who feel the pressure to attend the family gatherings when everything inside their body makes them want to run away and hide. A prayer for those on their own this Christmas, tackling all the marketing messages from the big commercial companies and trying to make sense of their decision to protect themselves and separate from the trauma of what Christmas should be. It is not all tinsel. It is not all shiny and bright and joyful. It can be very many tears for a chunk of society, and it is worth a moment's silence during Christmas Day to put good thoughts for them. I'm lucky. After many decades of dreadful and disastrous Christmases, one involving my grandmother's wire-haired terrier dog jumping up and biting my neck at the meal table, and her subsequently crying over filled puddings in the kitchen, my Christmas feels very blessed and special. Yes, I have succumbed to the purchasing of the very expensive real Christmas tree, as this is an important tradition still for my son. And yes, we've decorated it with lots of lights and baubles and tinsel, and it looks like Blackpool illuminations. Yes, we have purchased modest gifts for each other and put them under the tree. But this Christmas will be our third, with the three of us, where we have loud music on, laugh at anything that goes wrong, relax and enjoy the drama-free and trauma-free atmosphere, and relish in how lucky we are to have broken free from the pressure and the noise of the ghosts of Christmas past. We will go to church on Christmas Eve to get into the Christmas spirit and remember why it is a day of celebration. Note, I say one day of celebration and not 90 plus days. And I will pray for those less fortunate, for the many lonely and lost people let down by society's fascination with commercialism over community, the focus of money over what matters. And what matters is safety, security, and realism. I know too many beautiful souls that will spend their Christmas away from family because for them and their upbringing, family signified abuse and or trauma. The mocking, the ridicule, the put down, snide remarks and criticisms from toxic, narcissistic people who were supposed to be the safest people in the world to them. People that were supposed to protect them from the dangers of the outside world and offer a safe haven of security, a safe base to recharge and reboot with recognition, adoration and love. So to the commercial companies out there with big budgets for advertising at Christmas, spare a thought to those messages you give out. I encourage them to be more realistic with their portrayal of what Christmas is about. The very act of giving presents on Christmas Day only came about 100 years ago by the Victorians. Before that, they gave gifts at New Year time. So if you're a woman with endometriosis and with family this year, remember you're not alone. There are millions of women who will be going through the suffering of family this Christmas too, whether it is suffering emotionally or physically or both. Remember that you have an innate emotional strength and high degree of sensitivity to people, places, and things, but that you are also powerless over them. So put all your focus, all your power on you. Journal out your thoughts, feelings, fears, and anxieties. You'll get great internal strength from this process. Try and notice all the various family roles everyone takes on and plays out. Notice that you don't have to engage with people you do not like or make you feel uncomfortable. Notice what it feels like just to become the observer. And if you're on your own this Christmas, again, you're not alone. Equally put that ink across the paper and rejoice in the power of your pen. How it will guide you like an internal sat-nav system onto your next stage of your journey. Whether you're having Christmas on your own by design or by default, try to see it as a liberating time. I spent many a Christmas on my own, and I learned to relish the time to myself. Free from the trauma of Christmas past, where my tension and stress was often so great I could barely even eat the food or digest the food that was laid out on the table. After many fraught and tumultuous years, I feel so blessed to spend this Christmas with my children and remember how lucky we are to be at this point in our lives, at where we are living, and to be around the heartfelt people that we now know. So beware of marketers' messages and always come back to your own heart, soul, and instincts. Keep increasing your awareness of how people affect you and never ever feel guilty. You only have one life, and I know that 2020 is going to be your year. I know that you will take that leap of faith and do something differently and finally put yourself to the forefront of your life. As a woman with endometriosis, it is necessary for full health and pain-free body to do that. Because you matter. You are important. And do not let anyone, whoever they are, tell you otherwise. Seek to have supporters around you. Seek people who believe in you. Consider swapping out so-called friends for nice friends if they stand you up, let you down, or put you down. Learn how to become your own best friend and surround yourself with like-minded, heart-centered women like endo bosses. You see, you only have one life, so make sure that you think seriously about how you are going to live it differently as this year draws to a close. And as I sign out this podcast, I do wish you a very Merry Christmas. And as always, keep you number one.
Thanks for listening to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and rate us. If you're interested in learning more, you can download your top 5 jumpstart tips at healendometriosisnaturally.com and jump on the VIP email list. Remember to keep you number one. The world needs a healthy you.